Well, with that, we also did the modeled the Boss OD1, which is
Yes, yeah.
Yeah. Which again, you know, why that pedal, and if you want to talk about the tonal differences between the actual physical pedal opposed to the AmpliTube model of the version.
Yeah, well, I mean, the modeling nailed it totally. So there's not much to talk about there, but I mean, why overdrive pedals are weird. And first of all, we have to make a distinction. Overdrive pedals mix clean signal in with a clip signal. Distortion pedals, your entire signal is clipped. And this is a huge difference. So when you plug you have a super clean amp and you plug an overdrive pedal in real life, what you're going to hear is a little bit of your clean signal poking through every time you really hit hard, That can be really disconcerting if you're playing through a really clean amp. They really were designed for when you were halfway there. You're playing through a Fender Deluxe, it's kind of breaking up a little bit, and then it's your turn to solo, and you just you want to go to 11, or something like that. It doesn't really go to 11. It kind of goes to 7. 7 doesn't sound good with a fake British accent, though. But that's kind of like how I always saw them working, because that clean signal that gets through the pedal hits your vintage amp that's already breaking up, and that drives the amp. So you're really having two things happen at once. I always was suspect of this because, as anyone knows who's recorded distorted instruments, phasing is a real issue here. So it doesn't always work. So I mean, I've seen people go crazy having 200 overdrive pedals because I think that's what they're, and in this particular case, the plugin is a beautiful thing because it solves that issue right away, because you're not dealing with that anymore. They've modeled the end result, so there's no mixing anymore. You know what I mean? And I think it performs better in a way. Now, the reason why I wanted it in there was because it's all over the surfing record. Especially there's a song called Ice 9, and all the melodies were done with that pedal. And we ran that pedal into the 100-watt Marshall half stack, and the amp was pretty much clean, but we turned it up pretty loud, so the speakers were working really hard. And John mic'd it in a way and limited the signal, so it really sounds fat, way fatter than the actual pedal did, especially if we had plugged it into, let's say, the JC120. It would have been awful. So the pairing is extremely important, whether you're using the OD1 or the Super Overdrive, pretty much the same thing. But they're a good pedal. I mean, Boss makes some amazing pedals, and again with they even now, I think their buffers are even better than ever before. So, but the beauty of the modeled versions of these pedals is that we don't have to worry about any of that. There's no cables. There's no inductance that we have to dodge. There's no rebuffering that we have to worry about. And this is great. If you're making a record at home, this is what you want. You don't want to deal with pedals and cables and getting your neighbors and your housemates, all pissed off because you're playing too loud.